Hello, everyone. My name is Alexander Ermenkov. Today's 1st of March, 2023, and I'm continuing my series, Daily Reality with Alex. As some of you know, I'm doing this series during all the 2023. And what is more important is that everything that I'm expressing during this Ruling Reality series are things that are deep inside of me, and also are things that while I'm recording them, I'm also in awareness that everything I'm stating and I am sharing with you is actually very fundamental, and it is part of my reality, and I'm daily involved in everything that I'm stating, and it is not just something that I am personally just retranslating from others, though it's not possible that anything that we are sharing in this environment to be something new. But for sure, I would like to create some provocative type of thinking in all of you in order to understand reality in all its complexity, and without being afraid of the complexity of reality, to understand that even if we want it or even if we don't want it, there are constructs that are there for all of us. So I'm going to start today with a very important topic, which we, the human beings, are left without knowing about. And it is connected to who we are. It is very interesting that in reality, we always have a lot of dots, and then our minds are constantly through the questions connecting between these dots, and we are creating our reality, but we are never sure if whatever we have came to a conclusion, if it's right or wrong. But anyhow, because of the experience of all of us during the ages till today, we are able to realize approximately what have happened in the quadrant number 3 of the human experience, where is the so-called internal collective, where our beliefs, where are our worldviews, where are also our reality views. I understand that reality is very subjective. All of us experience reality in a different way, but there are many objective things also. One of the objective things is the daily we are opening our eyes, and in the evening we are closing them. We are in constant cycles. Today is 1st of March. It is the beginning of new month, and it is everywhere around humanity like this. What is the difference between today and yesterday? There is no difference, but we have created cycles. Months are cycles, weeks are cycles, and we are constantly becoming aware about time through these cycles. I have stated very many times, and this is something that I'm constantly working with, this is the obvious. According to me, everything about reality, all the truth is constantly in front of our eyes. And that's why I'm stating that the truth is always hidden in the obvious. So let's start today's session, where I'm going to speak about the priestly reality. As almost all humanity knows, in the past ages, we had the so-called priests. What are the priests? The priests are some of the human beings that had a better connection than other human beings with the so-called divine, with the so-called beyond, with the so-called quantum, with the so-called gods. So what we are doing constantly as human beings, we are just changing the labels, but we are in the same religions. Constantly, we are going from soft to hard religions, from different type of trying to understand reality and using different labels, but still we are speaking about the same things. What is more important, why we, the human beings, are in necessity to connect with the unknown, with the invisible, and why there is a capability in all of us to be priests. This is what I would like to speak about today, about our priestly reality, because we have a destination, and our destination is to the above, but with a meaning. What is usually a priest doing? If we ask ourselves, what is the priest doing? He's asking about the favors of the unknown to come into the known. In the past, the people were using the priests in order to help them with the weather, to help them with different types of illnesses, with everything that we human beings are not capable of. And a lot of us can say today, well, but Alex, today we don't need priests. I'm not a priest. You are not a priest. Why do we need to be connected with the invisible, since we already have a solution for everything? We understand now the climate. We understand the wars. We understand the health. We have industry for everything, so we don't need priests today. But the problem with us as human beings is that inside of us, there is a constant necessity for connection with what is the unknown. So in this case, in the past, a lot of people were in the so-called material world, and they used this type of people called the priests to connect with the gods and to convey them back the messages that they had. But in reality, all of us are able to be connected with the unknown all the time. All of us are capable to communicate with what is out there. But Alex, maybe there is nothing there and everything is in my head. Of course, because we are living in reality where everything is included in the bigger part of reality. So everything that is happening in our head is actually happening also in the outer reality, is actually happening in the bigger cosmos, is actually happening in society simultaneously. So since all reality is fractal, what is happening in the small is also happening in the large, and this is helping for the orientation in reality. Can you imagine if in the different parts of reality there were different general laws? Yes, there are specific laws for some part of reality, but also there are general laws that are going through all of the reality. So what is important to understand for all of us and to use it daily? This is practical for all of us to know that we are priests, that we have connection with the invisible, that there are beings which are beyond us, and we are to be in constant communication. Then we come to a very big differentiation, since some of us are thinking that this personalization of the reality is wrong. How do we know that we are personalities? What is the so-called uniqueness that defines us and that divides us from everything else? Our uniqueness is based on our specific experience, on our specific choices, but we have a perception that the choices we do matter. But what about if in reality no choices matter? Then what are we? I don't know. I'm constantly exploring, and more I'm exploring, more questions I have, and more I don't know. And this is something that should be typical for all of us. The minute we think that we know, the minute we start defining something, we become dogmatic, we come into a small cage, and we cannot grasp and understand reality. So once we approach reality, we are to be 100% and constantly open towards what is unknown, towards what is the invisible, and towards what is possible and what is probable. And there is a big problem with reality, that everything is possible, everything is probable, and all the directions are allowed. Then how are we to orient and to find these invisible natural laws that are governing everything, and how are we to define the construct of reality that is able to hold everything into existence. If we're not able to answer all of these questions for ourselves, we are in constant delusion. So what the human beings we are doing constantly, we don't know the truth, but we are constantly excluding. So this thing which I thought is something very interesting is actually not the truth. So through the exclusion processes, through all of our life, we are coming closer to a truth that cannot be defined. And it is very interesting, but this is constantly helping us when we are working in the realm of forms and effects. So paradoxically, more we open our mind towards the unknown, towards the formless, towards the unseen, and if we are able to communicate constructively with this realm and to understand that they are much more intense than only ours. And once we allow ourselves, and once we start trusting, and once we understand our positioning as humans in all this reality, which is quite populated. Yes, the invisible is not only for us, and also the invisible is not where only me or only you dwell. I understand this is the so-called perception. Through solipsism, we think that there is only us and nothing else in reality. And in a sense, it is so, because through my perception, in my inner being and in my physical brain, everything is happening there. But since reality is very complex, we are to learn to construct, to deconstruct, to be able to create meaning, to understand purpose, to orient ourselves in reality. And it is very interesting how we, the human beings, are so strongly willing to focus. And reality is constantly asking from us the opposite, to defocus ourselves and to detach ourselves from the things that so much interests us, because reality is constantly wanting to say us something more, that we are not created forward for the specific. We are not created for the detail. We are created, and long term, we are to adore, to worship, to focus, to pay attention to the general, to the common, to the beyond, to the unknown. And you can see then different type of labels in all type of religions. But what I'm giving you as an example, that anyhow, since we are destined to develop this relationship, we are very cleverly to understand that it is impossible for any of us to stay away from his positioning as a priest. And what is important and what the priests do is that they constantly bring down into the physical matter reality the favors of the so-called gods. So we have an ability through our collapsing power in the material world to download, to bring down the intent and the will of the beings that are above us. Of course, I'm a Christian, and for me, I have chosen this type of thinking, which is really helping me to understand the above reality. And I'm very daring, very open, and very confident about everything that is in the unknown. Then a lot of us are afraid, because when there is no structure, the human being is very hard to feel the existence and to understand that there is, that isness, that beingness exists, because beingness is to be put into form. And this is a very big paradox, because all the time we are limitless inside of us. There is no form. Everything is just without space and without time inside of us. We are constantly only in present moment. And then when we enter mornings to evenings into the physical matter reality, we are to work constantly and to work with this limitation, but also during the day to know and to have connection with the unknown, with everything that is happening in the realm of the cause, which is different from the realm of effects. So this is a very small part of our priestly reality with which all of us are to learn to work with, because there are so many questions that are coming from this realm regarding all of us. If we understand that we are border zone creatures and we are constantly connected, everything that we are doing here in this physical matter reality is actually affecting the non-physical matter reality, and also the opposite. So we are like a crossroad, and up to us is dependent, and it is up to our responsibility, everything that we are expressing in this reality. That's why our doingness is constantly monitored, and all of us are anyhow going to be responsible for everything that we are choosing, for everything that we are doing. And that's why through the ages, the human beings have always wanted to be sure that the favors of the above is with them, that everything we are doing is validated through the physical matter reality. And of course, it is very important to constantly monitor ourselves, the beyond reality being, and what reality is constantly communicating with us. And of course, there are then a lot of and different ways. Once we express our intent, things in reality start to change. Everything that is happening in the hidden inside of us is anyhow shown, and it's not possible to be hidden in the invisible. Yes, in the physical matter reality, some of us can think that we are in a position to be personality, where everything that we are doing, all of our thoughts are actually in a private mode. There is no private mode in the unseen. Everything is constantly monitored, and we are so strongly opposing, and we want to have private lives, we want to have individualization, but we don't understand that our meaning and purpose is quite percent different. What we are here to is to express uniqueness. Yes, we are monitored. Yes, we are in 100% connection, but our uniqueness and our personal essence that is created through this individualized consciousness that we are expressing during our life here on this planet is very, very important. And that's why this is my personal direction. This is what I am constantly involved in, into understanding the unknown. And when I look into what is happening in my reality, to see, to understand, and to find out where are the favors and why I'm validated from the physical matter reality with everything that I'm expressing in this reality. And then when we understand this connection between the invisible and the visible, between the unknown and the known, and when we see this collaboration going on a daily basis, then everything is becoming different. Then we don't need formulas. Then we don't need anything else to express, but only ourselves, because there is nothing else out there but only us in our subjective small part of the whole graphic reality, and everything is only requiring from us to express who we are and nothing else. And this is all for today. That's why I'm constantly expressing that the ultimate strategic positioning of who we are is just enough. And once we understand that our doingness and our priestly expression of connection between the above and the below is so very important, and it is up to us to decide if we are going to use it, how are we going to use it, and what are we going to express. This is something which is a very different topic, but all of us are anyhow to some extent involved into this. Bye-bye. Enjoy your priestly reality and enjoy everything that is daily happening with you, because it is what is generated for you, through you, by you, and in support of the expression of the essence of each one of us. Bye-bye.